So I'm going to bring up the dry and the wet now that we've set all that up, and we're going to see how that sounds. We'll go ahead and play that. And as you can see, it's changed the drum beat, but you can still hear the rhythm of the drum beat, but it's actually playing the chords that I pre-wrote in here. And it's kind of a nice little tune. Some of the things that you can change on the vocoder to give it a different sound once you've got all this set up is you can start adding more bands to the vocoder. You can play with the shift knob. Let's play with the shift knob and see what that does. You can see that it's kind of shifting the frequencies there. You can adjust the high frequency emphasis right here, which will give it kind of more of a really crackly kind of vocoding here. As I turn this up, that's kind of nice, a little bit cleaner. And you can also do things to the carrier input signal, which is our synthesizer here. Like sometimes I think that adding a little bit of a chorus to that, I'm right clicking on the subtractor and I'm just going to create a chorus flanger effect and just kind of leave it just like it is. And we're going to see how that changes things. See that add kind of a little bit more body to the sound. And we can turn the high emphasis down a little bit. And if you turn up the decay, kind of like in previous lessons with the EQ rack that we learned how to make, it'll give it more decay at the end of the notes. Turn it way up, it gets kind of out of control. You can also mess with the pitch bend now that we've got this going of the subtractor. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that I pre-wrote the keyboard track for this, but notice that the notes of the keyboard line have to extend where you want them to. So if I just play this first bar right here with this one drum loop right here, you can see that the keyboard line extends exactly, or pretty close to, as long as the drum loop. Because without the carrier signal, without the keyboard line, you won't hear anything. So if I cut it short like that, you'll get something like this. Because the vocoder needs that signal to create the sound that you're hearing. It needs, from both sides, it needs the drum beat and the subtractor. So you've got to make sure that you extend that all the way to the end of the bar there. So. Levels here. You see our modulator imp level from the Dr. X player. We could probably turn that up a little bit. It's a little bit quiet, so I'm going to turn the volume up on that. Now you can also do other cool things that change the sound, like you could change the octave here of the drum loop that we have. Keep in mind that we're just still playing with this loop. I've turned it down to dry again so you can hear that. And I've turned it all the way up, but if you play with the octave, these are all things you can record automation on. While the loop's going, you could do something like this. I just changed the octave up on the drum beat. Maybe you want to come up here and add a global effect like delay. It's got kind of a more short sound. Or maybe you don't like the delay. Maybe you don't want to use that. Maybe a little bit. So basically, the vocoder is a very versatile processor here in Reason, and the possibilities of you can use it for all kinds of stuff. Another thing you could do is, let's go ahead and switch the octave of the drum beat back down so it's back to normal. You can hold the notes. So at different periods, you could hold, say, let's go ahead and watch as I put the hold on and then take it off. You'll see that it holds, kind of freezes everything that's going on, and when you let it off, it'll come back. It just basically freezes anything that the vocoder is putting out at the time. I use that a lot in my vocals. If you switch this to equalizer, then the vocoder just becomes an equalizer and it will not blend the signals, and it can get quite loud because you're EQing the sound. So I'll let you go ahead and try that on your own. By switching it to equalizer, you don't get the vocoding effect anymore. What you get is a 4-band, 8-band, 6-band, 32-band, or a lot of bands equalizer for any kind of. You could use it as an equalizer for any instrument you want. Although Reason has its own great equalizers as well. So I'm going to switch that back to vocoder. Anyway, that's basically our quick lesson this time on vocoding. Keep in mind some of the key tips to remember is to keep the levels good right here. You want to keep those balanced right here, the carrier and the modulator input levels. If you add different bands, let's go ahead and play that here. You can get different sounds here. Dropping out the low frequencies or bringing them up. You can really shape your vocoded sound using more bands. But for this sound that we're trying to recreate, I'm going to leave it back down to 4 bands because it sounds more like the original music at the beginning of the song. I've gone ahead and pre-made this rack on a different one, and I've already added, you can see I've added my flanger, I've added some EQing, basically the same thing we just did with a little bit of reverb, and I've kind of messed with the EQs just the way I wanted to get a more authentic sound, and that my version of it before we did the lesson here kind of sounds like this. Just added a little reverb, a little bit more spacing. So basically, that's our lesson for this time, and I plan on the future and going into some more vocoding. But this is a great way to get started and mess around with the vocoder, and just experiment and keep your levels nice. Remember that you are mixing 2 different sounds, and the vocoder will help you do that. But you want to make sure that one of them is not dominating the other one, and you'll get some really nice sounds. So we'll see you next time. Everywhere I go.